we know that there are 4 different ways that we factorise. We either use highest common factor, guide number method, grouping, or difference of two squares. I'm going to go through an example of each one and how to recognise which one we're going to use. You will see the word factorise in your exam, so you need to know that straight away I'm either doing 1, 2, 3 or 4 to solve it. Let's take a look at this question. Factorise the quadratic expression. Because I have an x squared here, followed by an x, followed by a constant, I need to use the guide number method to factorise this. So we go ahead and we create our 4 boxes. So over here now, I've created my 4 boxes in the diamond shape that we looked at in class. You won't have this in your exam, so you need to create these boxes yourself. What we do is, like we always did, we put the end number plus the sign in the box. So -3, and my middle number goes on the bottom, which is +2. Now, I need to look at this and see what 2 factors of 3 will add or subtract to give me 2. Well, it's 3 and 1. Now, I need to multiply them and get a -3 and add and subtract them to get a +2. So I'm going to need a +3 and a -1, because +3 multiplied by -1 is -3, and if I have €3 and I give somebody €1, I only have €2 left. So that's how it works. So in my brackets that are already given to you in the question, I put a +3 and I put a -1. And that's that answer fully done. Now I move on to my next question. It says factorise, and all it says is x squared minus 64. If we see a question in this format, where we've a variable, in this case x, and a square number, because I know it's a square number, because if I find the square root in my calculator of 64, I get 8. Or in other words, 8 squared is 64. Or we can say 8 times 8 is 64. So what I do is I create 2 brackets. In my first bracket, I have x plus 8. And in my second bracket, I have x minus 8. Now, it doesn't matter in your exam if you put your x minus 8 here and your x plus 8 here, you'll still get marks. It's just a case of you had a preference to put the minus first. So there's 2 out of 4 factorising methods. We have guide number with our diamond boxes, and we have difference of 2 squares because I have a square number. Now we're on to the next 2 methods of factorising. Again, we have brackets in both. These are hints to help you. Factorise each of the following. In part 1, we've got a 4x and an 8y and a minus 12z. Because this 4 is here, it's telling me to use the highest common factor method. So, I simply take the 4 and I divide each term by 4. And I put in what's left into my brackets. So when I divide 4 into 4x, I'm left with x. When I divide 4 into 8y, I'm left with plus 2y, because 4 into 8 is 2. And 4 into 12 is minus 3, and I keep my z. And that's that fully answered using the method of highest common factor. I then come to part 2. Part 2 is done by grouping. And we know that when we're grouping, we split it down the middle so that we have 2 terms on the left and 2 terms on the right. And what I do now is, I say, well, A is common to both sides. A is common to the left-hand side. So I will cancel the A and cancel A, and what I'm left with is B minus 2. And I'm left with 3 on the other side. If I divide each part by 3, divide this by 3, and divide this by 3, I'm going to be left with just B, 3 divided to minus 6 is minus 2. Now, I need to bring these down to form a bracket like this. A plus 3, because they're my outside terms. And then I'm only going to write down my b minus 2 once. And that's that question fully answered using grouping method.